What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Bayboi. You already know what it is. But today, I'm gonna bringing you guys a league challenge recap from today that we had over here in Modesto, California, on behalf of the Break Even YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out the podcast, go ahead. We already have episode 1, and episode 2 should be up very shortly if it's not up by the time this one goes up. But let's just go over the league challenge we had today. Today I ended up playing Blounds, aka Blacephalon Naganadel, the basic one. You know, Blacephalon GX, Naganadel to get some stuff from the energy from the discard. You know, the same old, same old. I put some, I guess you would say, spicy text in it. But it's basically Shintaro's list. But I changed a few cards. I didn't like not having a fourth Beast Ring and stuff like that. Maybe we could do a deck profile sometime down the line. But getting right into the tournament, I was pretty confident. I was having a good day. I was getting some good sleep. Sleep is very important for the tournament. A lot of people spend up the night before, staying up to like 2 a.m. And trust me, it doesn't matter. If you're not rested, you're gonna misplay. You're gonna be tilted straight from round 1. So take my advice, get some sleep. But anyways, getting into the tournament, round 1, I played against Mew 3, I think they're calling it, even though I don't like the name Mewtwo and Mew, where they just have a bunch of attackers they'll put in the discard, and they'll use Mewtwo and Mew's, or Mew 3, whatever, his ability to copy those attacks. And on paper, that should be a winnable matchup, because I'm only giving them 2 prize cards per Pokemon, and I can hit it for weakness with Naganadel, and I'm also hitting very hard, very fast. I had a very good turn 1. I ended up going first. I had a very good turn 1. I welded 2 energy and attached. I had 2 Poiples. It was pretty set up. And my opponent, who was a local player, was bricking very badly. Couldn't really get anything, and ended up what did it wasn't Mewtwo. I can't exactly remember what they started, but it wasn't something that they wanted to start with, and they were just bricking upon bricking. Turn 2, played Cynthia, couldn't get anything. I just kept drawing all my trainers. I'm not sure why during this round, and then turn 3, I was like, enough is enough. I'm gonna play this Heat Factory, even though I know they can benefit from it just as much as I can. They've been bricking a lot more than I have. I haven't been able to really, like, there's no point in me attacking and sending my energy to the Lost Zone if I'm not one-shotting it, and I only had 3 at the time, I think 4 by turn 3, so it wasn't really worth doing it, so I was just bursting burning, which is burn and confuse. So the 20 damage, and a lot of people underestimate that, because that 20 damage saves me a whole fire energy, and in my version where I'm playing a psychic energy, it's 1 less fire I have, so it kind of makes up for it. But anyway, the Heat Factory, I played it. I draw 1 custom catcher, which was the story of my existence all tournament, and then a bunch of other trainers, and I burn and confuse, go to his turn. He uses Heat Factory and gets the exact 3 cards he needed, and it proceeds to just stomp me over and over again, and I ended up not even taking 1 prize card, and for a deck like Blacephalon, that is just like unheard of. But started off 0-1, I wasn't tilted, it was whatever, stuff happens. Round 2, faced another local. It was a local Battle City, I guess, and I ended up donking him because it was the mirror match, and he started purple, and I was pretty set up, and I just attached fire energy and knocked him out. Round 3, I played against Green's Blounds, had a Charizard in it. It was pretty back and forth. I killed this Charizard by discarding 6, and he had 4 Blacephalons on the field. He Beast Ring twice, killed something. I got down to 1 prize card, and I haven't GX'd yet, so I was just going to burst and burn. Burst GX, I believe is what it's called, for the win the next turn. And he only had 1 out, which was to play Welder for 2 fire energies and to attach his Beast energy to hit 180 on my Blacephalon. And his deck was pretty moderately thick. We were towards the end of the game, but it had a lot more cards. So where it was gonna be hard to pull it. He'd have to have gone really lucky. And sure enough, he weldered, double fire, and got the beast ring off of 3 cards, and then beat me when I had everything in my hand to play. So I ended up getting donked. I was a little salty about that, but hey, you win some, you lose some, whatever. So I'm 1-2 now. And then going into game 3, played against Malamar. It's probably Bucephalon's toughest matchup, but with a few texts that I put on there to make it a little bit easier, it's definitely winnable. But it was pretty... It's hard to say it's back and forth when one of their knockouts equals 2 of mine, but I would say it was pretty close. I had some damage on the field, but he was out of catchers. It was back and forth, basically hit each other, knockout, hit each other, knockout. And then I ended up going with the Nagnodel GX route, where I would just snipe Malamar so he couldn't power up stuff. But unfortunately, I got it a little bit too late, because I was bricking once again. It was just Brick City today for some reason. And he just started just hard attaching, or using his abilities on backup Giratinas and not just recycling the same one over and over again. And then he forgot how we got to this checkpoint, but basically I double catchered a Malamar with no energy on it, so I could snipe bench Pokemon to basically victory, because there's really no way that he was gonna hard retreat with all the energy that he had on the field, and then he had none on the bench, and he had already played 3 switches. I didn't know his list, but I was highly unlikely that he paid 4, and even if he did, he had a fairly amount in his deck to find it. So I was sniping, but then he pinched a Mew, so it stopped that. So at some point, I had to knock out the active, but I had to make sure I did it with the right Pokemon, because then he would either return knockout the Nagnodel GX, which already had 140 or so damage on it, or let him knock out one of my baby Nagnodels, which had been stocking up all my energies because I had ended up running out of energy in the deck. So I haven't played this deck enough to know when to keep energies in the deck and when to keep in the discard, because I'm used to like the Marshouts and stuff. I haven't put enough games in this version of Bucephalon to really get comfortable with it. So long story short, we ended up having like a ruling early on in the game, and it just kind of made a judge ruling early on in the game, and it just kind of made the whole game kind of awkward. We had a judge sit with us the whole time, and it just kind of changed the whole mood of the game and the flow, where it just felt like I had to be on top of my toes every time I played something. So it was just really mentally draining, because it was like, oh, I gotta watch every single move I do, double check it, make sure I'm doing it in a timely fashion, etc., etc. Anyways, long story short, it ended up being in the tie even with our extension, so I tied that round. And then the 5th and final round, I played against Alolan, Executor, and Rowlet, and he never saw any of his weakness energies, so I was able to just win that one fairly easy. So I ended the day 2-2-1 and getting I was pretty low down there, like 14th or 15th place out of like 25 or so people, maybe 30. But overall, I think Bucephalon is a good play. I just need to be more comfortable with this version, where I'm playing 4 Welders and 4 Cynthia. So basically, you're weldering almost every turn, and then you want to use a Nagnodel GX and your other trainers to make sure you make the most of that Beast Ring turn. And I just have to get more comfortable with it, because there was a lot of times where I would end up having all of my fires in the discard and none of them in the active to effectively use the welders and stuff like that. I was getting too comfortable of the old Bucephalon, where you wanted a lot of fires in the discard, and so you could just baby Nagnodel them back. But when you're playing the split of the GX with the draw ability and the baby, most of the time you're only going to have 2 of the energy from the discard at most, or 1, and then the draw 1, so I have to get more comfortable with that. But overall, like I said, I think the deck's a good play. So if you're looking for a fun and easy deck to play, I'd say play Blacephalon. For me, for my standards, for myself, I think I could have went at least 4-1. There was probably the Malamar one I probably could have lost or should have lost, or wherever you want to say it, because that's probably the only tough matchup. But if I faced the same 4 opponents, I think I would have did really well, especially with the loss to the top deck and then the tie. Those could have gone either way. So that's my report for the Break Even channel. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you don't mind my fuzz I got. I don't know what I'm doing, but you'll be seeing a lot more of these from different cups and challenges all over. We'll try and change it up. Right now I'm just sitting at home because it was kind of hectic today. My apologies. But before I go, I have a small thing I want to add to the end of this video. Sorry, I didn't realize my hand was that close. Very quickly, people need to stop taking Pokemon so seriously. We had several judge calls to the point where we had to make announcements and stuff. And then I think the store owner said it best. The person across from you is still a person, so treat them how you would any other person. So, with that in mind, guys, it's just a card game. The definition of this game is that it's a hobby. Yes, you can make money off of it. Yes, you can travel the world playing this wonderful game. And we didn't have these opportunities when I was younger. Take it seriously to an extent, but don't take it seriously to the extent where you're getting red in the face, where you're storming off, or where certain situations might come off. It's not that serious, man. And at the end of the day, most of the people, let's face facts, most of the people who play this game are in the Master Division, which I believe is, was it 17 and up? And even then, most of the Masters are more in their mid to late 20s, so I think we all need to start acting our age. Let's just have some fun in the game, man. But I think I've ran for too long. It's about 12 minutes. I don't know how this is going to be edited down, but long story short, Blacephalon's a good play. Only deck you'd have to worry about is Malamar. Everything else, you pretty much either have an above average win con against it, or you just hit so hard that you probably should win. But this has been your boy, Bayboi, and I'm out. See you guys next time. We're getting that dub. Trust me. I'm saving it for the cup. It's that easy. Peace.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like the video, leave a comment of what you want to see next, and subscribe. T here from the Break Even TCG channel, signing out.